Hi guys, my name is Jamie and I'm a first-year emergency medicine resident. It's December and exam season is now in full swing. To go along with my last video on studying for exams, today I want to talk to you guys about test-taking strategies. I have 7 tips and these are all the tips that I have used myself during college and throughout medical school. So let's get started. Tip number 1, be prepared. There's no test-taking strategy that will help you if you haven't studied. For some tips on how to study for your exams, including how to make a study plan, please check out my recent video on exam preparation. Tip number 2, arrive early. I would arrive early to give yourself plenty of time for traffic if you're driving, for breakfast, etc. There's nothing worse for test-taking anxiety if you're running into your exam to be on time. Tip number 3, write out the formulas. If you have formulas or concepts you need to memorize for the exam, write it out on a piece of paper as soon as the exam starts. If you have to recall when you actually encounter the question, you'll feel more flustered. Having it handy makes it easier and it'll give you confidence when you actually do encounter that question. So some of the examples include math formulas, acid-base equations, amino acid structures, or something as simple as cranial nerves. Whatever formula or equation or list you need to stop and think about, if you think it might show up on the test, it may be worth actually writing it out as soon as the exam starts. I did this for my MCAT as well as a lot of my medical school exams. Tip number 4, be mindful of the time that you're allotted for the exam. Some exams you know you will have enough time to go back and really do a thorough review. For other exams, for example my USMLE Step 1 and 2, I knew I may not always have time to go back through the entire section again. Knowing how much time you'll actually have really depends on your professors and types of exams that you have, but a good rule of thumb is I like to be done with a little more than half the exam when the half the time is over. So for example, if the exam is 2 hours long and you have 60 questions, I like to be done with at least 35 to 40 questions by the time the first hour has passed. If I wasn't there, then I would try to speed up my pace so that I'm not counting down seconds as I answer my last few questions. Being done even a couple minutes early gives you a good time to do the next tip, which is tip number 5. Mark the questions that you're unsure about and circle back at a later time. Don't waste time reading a difficult question over and over. If you give it a couple tries and you know in your heart that you don't know the answer, or you just don't know what the question is asking, then it might be better to just leave it and move on and give yourself time to answer questions that you actually have a chance of getting it right. This is especially helpful in multiple choice exams where all the questions are weighed the same and they're all worth the same number of points. If you think that you might run out of time or if the test is computer generated, then pick the most likely answer before moving on, but make sure to flag the question. At the end of the exam, I look for my flagged questions, go back and see if there's anything I want to change about the way I answer the question. If I feel fairly certain that I have the correct answer, then I unflag the question. Tip number 6, read the question. And this may sound really obvious, but there's been many times when I go over exams with my friends and one of us claims, "Oh, I missed the not in the question." In multiple choice questions, read the question carefully and pay attention to negatives like least likely, which of the following is not, and of course the double negatives. I like to highlight or circle the negatives or cross them out altogether if they're double negatives. This makes it really obvious what the question is actually asking, and there's no chance that you'll answer it the opposite way, because you know there's going to be an opposite answer hiding in there somewhere. Tip number 7, bring snacks. This may not always be possible depending on your professor or the exam setting, but if you're allowed, bring snacks, coffee, water, etc. Whether it's real or placebo, a little bit of sugar boost mid-exam really helps me focus again. So some of my favorite things to bring are little pieces of chocolate or candy. And to be mindful of your test takers next to you, I would avoid loud, crunchy foods like dry cereal. So that's it for all the tips on test-taking strategies. Before I close this video, I want to thank Brilliant for sponsoring today's video. Brilliant is a website that teaches you complex concepts like algebra, calculus, statistics, physics, and break them up into bite-sized concepts and help you master them through an interactive problem-solving interface. With the holiday season coming up, I think a Brilliant subscription would be a great present to give someone who's curious and likes to ask questions like, how does the refrigerator work? Or how do I solve this puzzle? Or maybe even, what is quantum computing? Brilliant is a fun way to nurture curiosity, build confidence, and develop problem-solving skills crucial to school, job interviews, or their career. So go to brilliant.org/TheStriveToFit and grab a gift subscription for your loved ones or for yourself. Thanks for watching today's video, and if you're not following me on social media, you can follow me at TheStriveToFit on Twitter and on Instagram. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so by going to TheStriveToFit.com and buying some merchandise. If you want to watch other videos, you can click right here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!